state in order to exclude what are complained of wiretapped interceptions. The movement has a need to show there was a subjective expectation of privacy in their statements, and the expectation is one that society would accept as reasonable. As to the subjective expectation showing the defendant has met that burden, it now shifts to the state as to whether this is one that is reasonable. Ms. Dugan?
Yes, sir. I have argument.
You may proceed.
May I provide the court with some case law?
You may.
I've got some argument, and then I'll kind of go through each one of these cases. I provided defense a copy of these earlier this morning. So in defendant's motion, they first argued that this was, a warrantless search. However, the state's argument is that this is not subject to Fourth Amendment, so there's no wrongful state action that caused this defendant to be reported after the inmate was no longer on the call. The only conceivable state action here was the state having this service that allows inmates to make recorded calls. But on those calls, both parties have to consent to be recorded for the call to begin. And if they do not want to be recorded or need to hang up, the state didn't intend to record this defendant's conversation in her home with her husband and friends. And it was the fact that she was recorded was not caused by the state's actions. It was caused by the defendant's actions. The defendant argues that they have a reasonable expectation of privacy in the call, but that would only start once this defendant actually hangs up. And the defendant is the one responsible for hanging up, not the state. The defendant was responsible for the interception of the phone call. It was her failure to hang up that caused that rest of that call to be recorded.